Shalom. I'd like to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And shalom to you sincere, hopeful elect brothers and sisters listening and learning. And to you brothers preaching and teaching this truth through the four corners of the earth. This is Brother Nathan, come out of the GMS Indianapolis camp. Coming back on with a quick one through the spirit. This article reading into. And this is it says from Fox News. It says gate of tears, excuse me, gate of tears at risk. Iran threatens major new global choke point if U.S. moves on Hormuz. It says, let me walk out here, give me some, do a little small walk and talk around the block. It says Iran could retaliate against a U.S. naval blockade of the Strait of Hormuz by directing its Houthi allies to disrupt another critical global shipping route, a senior Middle East analyst warned Sunday. And right, so, you got Trump saying he's going to use the U.S. Navy to block ship traffic on the other end of the Strait of Hormuz. So basically, like, nobody can get in or leave. So it's causing still double the problem. So he's like, well, because Iran was letting some countries go through, of course. Like China. These are allies, right? But see, now this totally chokes up. So Esau, Trump is like, hey, if we can't get any, then nobody can get anything. So we all gonna suffer. Which this is all part of the first and foremost. This is the Yahweh Bashim Shai's plan. This is the New World Order. So that's what comes with it. All right. And it says, return to, oh, go, excuse me, past people. It says, Iran could retaliate against U.S. naval blockade of the Strait of Hormuz by directing its Houthi allies to disrupt another critical global shipping route. I see a senior middle analyst warned Sunday, right, reading that again because they say they're not gonna be able to, like I said, there's already been delays in the global supply chain. And since the global supply chain is getting jacked up, it's gonna cause issues like during the C-19 when everything was halting and things weren't moving like they normally do. It messed up the whole supply chain. Even to this day, there's still issues. You know, you still see it where some stores are harder to get items. So they're out of them quicker. Or now there's more shelves of the same stuff to make it seem like there's an abundance in the grocery store, but it's the same products being stacked multiple times to fill the void of what used to be there. Especially a lot of companies going out of business. And you see how about Shaq closing the doors on this place, cutting the lights off. All right, grinding being ceased, because that's the times we're in. This place isn't going to continue on and on forever. It says the Bab al Mandeb, a narrow choke point linking the Red Sea to the Gulf of Aden, carries roughly 12% of global oil shipments and serves as a vital trade corridor between Asia and Europe, making it a strategic target for escalation that could further strain global energy markets. Right. And so mind you, Europe, right? That's an ally of America, Babylon the Great. Okay? But you see it where, like Revelation 17, that the beast shall hate the horse, so that NATO and the EU, you see they're gonna turn and shoot missiles on America, man. All right, they're gonna join Russia and China and likes, all right, because what? This filthy whore, America, has destroyed the earth. That's what Proverbs 29 and 2 says. Let's get that real quick. It says, Proverbs 29 and 2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. See, since the wicked are in control, that's why the people act the way they act, especially around the globe. All right, because it's full of pains and sorrows. You can never get ahead. You know, as soon as you get an upgrade in pay, then what? The prices of things go up, deleting out that raise you may have gotten, and now being you know, what we're gonna say it's like it's cars and whatever. But lost my train of thought. But yeah, you know, people are gonna be jacked up. Proverbs 29:2. All right, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. See, when the righteous get to take over, the one that's set up that is profitable, like says Sirach the 10th chapter, who's the profitable one is Yahweh Shai. All right, when Yahweh Shai is in rulership, that's when this earth is gonna be made whole again. All right, we're gonna take the crowns from the heads of these kings, modern day kings. You know, all these nations are going to be taken out. And ultimately, the crown's going to be taken of these elites, all right, because they're the ones really running things. The Rothschilds, Rockefellers was saying, Oppenheimers, all these elite families. And all these states got elite families, you know. But guess what? They are the wicked that the Bible speaks of. These call them so-called white man. All right. Once again, Job 9:24, the earth was given into the hands of the wicked. See, Yahweh Shemel Shai gave him that. He's given them this earth and let them rule. And you see when the wicked beareth rule, you see why the people are mourning. You got the alphabet mafia community, depression on the all-time high, people sick at an all-time high. All right. About to be inflation up to hyperinflation. The inflation, excuse me, ain't about to be inflated. Everything is becoming inflated, continue to inflate with wages not meeting it. All right, rent's super high. People are just paying for to basically to drive to work, get back, barely pay their bills, and do it all over again. You know, so yeah, this life we live in is a crazy life. You know, we got to be saved up out of here, man. But that, I kind of got off a little topic, but through the spirit still. Back to this article because hey, we're in the midst of the beginning of World War III. You know, seeing that all come down together. What reads it says if the U.S. proceeds with its plan to blockade the strait, Iran's escalation strategy could dictate that it ensures Gulf countries can't export. So I mean, what they're going to destroy the oil rigs and stuff and ports in the Gulf of America right now. Instead of the Gulf of Mexico, now it's the Gulf of America, right? You know. So Iran's like, okay, you want to play fire with fire? And see, Iran, they ain't acting like a weak nation. They've been waiting on this moment. You can tell they're not backing down. They don't want to talk. Them so-called peace talks that they're talking about, that shit ain't happening. Iran already told them, like, we ain't doing. It says could dictate that ensures Gulf countries can't export either. Mona Yacobian, director and senior advisor at the Middle East program, told Fox News Digital. It says this could translate to further attacks on Gulf energy infrastructure or even deploying the Houthis to blockade the Bab al Mandeb, Yakubian added. It says Yakubian's remarks came after Ali Akbar Velati, a senior advisor on international affairs to Iran's supreme leader, signaled Tehran's view of the Bab al Manab in light of potential U.S. action to block the Strait of Hormuz. It said today, the unified command of the resistance front views Bab al Manab as it does Hormuz, he said in a post on X. It says if the White House dares to repeat its foolish mistakes, they will soon realize that the flow of global energy and trade can be disrupted with a single move. Ooh, see, Iran talking their big one against the U.S. U.S. Central Command released a statement Sunday saying the naval blockade would begin Monday and be enforced against vessels of all nations entering or departing Iranian ports and coastal areas, including all Iranian ports on the Arabian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman. President Donald Trump also said the U.S. Navy would block any and all ships trying to enter or leave the Strait of Hormuz in post on Truth Social. Excuse me, they may have not been talking about the Gulf of America with the Gulf. It might have been talking about the two I just read. We'll have to look more into that Arabian Gulf, the Gulf of Oman. But I want to say that I read something else too. But nonetheless, you can look it up. President Donald Trump also said the U.S. Navy would block any and all ships trying to enter or leave the Strait of Hormuz. In the post on Truth Social. In March, the U.S. warned ships at the Red Sea chokepoint of the Houthis' attack. The Houthis continue to pose a threat to U.S. assets, including commercial vessels in the region, says a maritime advisory said of the Iran-backed armed group that controls much of northern Yemen. And see, that's a proxy army that's backed by Iran. So it's not Iran, quote unquote, actually doing it, but they're paid mercenaries, all right, to do it with Iran's equipment. You know, that's how they get around things. But that's it on that. Well, when I post it in the chat, you can look it up. The title says, hold on, bear with me. Yeah, Gate of Tears at risk. Iran threatens major new global choke point if U.S. moves on hard moves. Yeah, you can pull that up. Fox News it just dropped today at 8:24 p.m. So hey, you see it. It's going down. All right, this is Second Ezra chapter 9 and verse 1. He answered me, then it said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the sign, and all right, how do you measure the time? With the scriptures, with the prophecies of the scriptures. And you line it up and filter what's going on through the scriptures with the prophecies. All right. You filter it, what's going on in the world. Okay. And we know these are the what, like Matthew 24, the wars and rumors of wars. All right, because all this leads to escalations of war. All right, and all these nations are getting pulled together in this. All right, because they're gonna battle at the battle of Jehoshaphat or Yahweh Shaphat. All right, Yahweh's judgment. Okay, it says, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before. See, we only need to see parts of the signs. So when we're seeing prophecies hit, we know we're what? We're at the end. Okay, when we're seeing these end time prophecies come to life before our eyes, we know it's right at the door. All right, there's destruction in our salvation, and Lord willing, we're of that elect number. Okay, verse 2, because it said what? He that endureth to the end, what? The same shall be saved. All right, so that's what's about endurance. This is not a race to the swift, but what? It's a marathon. Okay, you just like long distance runners. They start out the game at a nice pace. All right, they don't just give it all they got and get way the hell ahead and then what? Gas themselves out. All right, just like in the truth. All right, this is not a sprint. All right, because you wear yourself out. All right, it's a marathon. It's about endurance. During these what hard times. All right, it said what endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahweh Shemel Shai. Yeah, because you get all these trials and these. tribulations that come upon you in this walk, which, through the Spirit, you got to know is for our betterment, the chastisement of the Lord. That's how we get to the next heights, you know, of our walk. It's through pain and suffering. It said, like I said in the weightlifting movie, hey, no pain, no gain, right? It's like when you're working out, you know. It says, then shalt thou understand that is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which you made. Therefore, and that's the thing, you're seeing the Lord visit. All right. The Lord is visiting on this place. All right. It says, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes, all right, when we're seeing that at all time high, earthquakes in diverse places, and uproars of the people in the world, and you're seeing the uproars, all right, all these countries, all these nations against the war, against these financial crises, the farmers rioting in different places, our people rioting across the world for this unjust war on Iran. But even though this is the Lord's movie, this has to happen. This is a necessity. All right, Babylon the Great has to be destroyed, and this is part of the start of it. They're showing that they're not the big bad wolf anymore. They done finally ran into the brick house, and that's Iran. All right, China and Russia. All right, those nations ain't backing down. North Korea ain't backing down. That's a brick house onto America. They can't touch it. They can't blow them down. They can't Venezuela Iran. That's what they thought they were gonna do. And their pride was deceive them. Because this is the most highest movie. Proverbs 20 and 24 goes says what? Man's goings are of the Lord. How then can a man understand his own way? Proverbs 21 and 2. About 21 and 1. All right. Let's go. Go ahead and just get it. You don't know it. The king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh Bashim Shai. As the rivers of water, he turns it whithersoever so he will. So he's in the control of these nations' rulers and why they move and how they're moving. You know, Yahweh Shema Shah is the one that's prolonged this to work out this way. So the Lord is very dramatic. All right, he's the creator of all. So, but we see it nearing the end of this movie. All right, we're seeing the climax. We're seeing the grand finale getting ready to take part sooner than later, like Romans 13:11. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. So, we was the hopeful elect. We understand that we're at the very end, and we know we're close. But Yahweh Shema Shah is going to show you how much closer it's going to get and the quickness of it. Because, like he said in Matthew 24 and 22, that he is shortening the days for the elect's sake. Otherwise, no flesh would be saved. Because if Esau Edom was just able to rule and do his heart's desire, we'd be through. We'd be destroyed. We wouldn't make it. You know? But the Lord is speeding everything up for the elect's sake. That's why time's moving fast. That's why you do a couple tasks, you look up, it's like hours of them pass. In 2 Ezra chapter 9, verse 4 says, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. And it's manifest. These wars and rumors of wars, all right, with this